Hey, and welcome to your Gemini horoscopes for the week of July 15th to July 22nd. So the week ending July 22nd. No planets in Gemini this week. We continue to have the influence of Vespa in your sign this week, though. But that's a little bit easier than what's going on with the planet. There's a lot of craziness going on with the planet. So it's best if you guys just stay out of it, if that makes sense. Vespa's influence is very interesting, though, for you guys this week because focus is on long-term goals, and Vespa continues to be that. It's referred to as the eternal flame that burns on the hearth, that is home. So a lot of this revolves around future goals around your home space, if that makes sense. And specifically bringing things from the past comforts into that home space, if that makes sense as well. Like, for instance, recreating something that brought you joy when you were a child, or brought you the sort of security, or that secure feeling when you were a child. Is absolutely 100% okay to look back in those kinds of instances, because I feel like when we use those past um things that make us feel that way, that security feeling in the past, we're creating that security for ourselves now, even though we're borrowing from something that happened before. This is actually much healthier than spending your time pining for a time that you'll never get back, if that makes sense. So you know in this way that you're never going to get it back, but you're borrowing from it to keep a little piece of that time alive for yourself, which makes absolutely perfect sense. A good example of that to me would be, there's a place, or there was a time in my younger childhood years where I lived with my grandma. My mother, my brother and sister and I lived with my grandma, and those 2 years were like the happiest years of my life. That's where I felt the safest. That's where I felt the most secure. And there's certain aspects of the things that I remember in that environment that are very much a part of my grandma, of course, but incorporating some of those things into what I'm doing now. So that type of decoration, for example, things that were personally hers, if I have them. I have a couple of little bears that come from that time period. Those things just, it's almost like just the sight of them sort of brings you that peaceful feeling that you had without relying on somebody else to give it to you, if that makes sense. So it actually does, in some cases, help out a lot. At least it helps to change your mindset, so you're not in that space sort of pining for what you don't have anymore, if that makes sense. I'm thinking about a Gemini and her father, and bringing things that remind her of her father into that environment does, because her father's no longer with us. So it's really the same concept. Why it seems okay for somebody who's gone and not okay, because you're not representing somebody who's gone, but a time period that is gone. I don't know, but I don't see any difference in that at all. The other thing that I have for you guys in terms of long-term goals is, it's really important to write these things down. So if it's something that you can't do right now, to get a piece of paper and a pen or a notepad and just write these ideas down. You Geminis, your brain goes from one thing to another, to another, to another so quickly. It's so easy to lose some of those ideas. And you want to make sure that you, of course, harness everything that's coming to you, because these things are coming to you for a reason. They're ideas to move in a specific direction for you. So make sure that you're not working against your Gemini brain, you're working with your Gemini brain. There's a lot of brilliance in there. You want to harness that, not get confused by it. So That's what I have for you guys this week. And if you love your horoscopes, do click the link below and send me a coffee. I would really love that. And I will see you guys next week. Make it a great week, everybody.